Thank you for watching. I wanted to shoot a quick video about device code phishing and what it looks like using a real life example. Hopefully this can help be educational to everyone to avoid falling foul of this nasty attack. Device code phishing is just a different type of phishing where they're utilizing something designed for authenticating Internet of Things devices like TVs and meeting room devices. It means that you don't have to give away your password and MFA to let them in, so you're not necessarily clicking a dodgy link, but they're utilizing this authentication method for allowing something else into your systems through legitimate methods. We're going to run through a real life attack. We're seeing this on an increasing frequency now as they're utilizing this to get around and bypass some of the methods being put in place which are phish resistant multi-factor, such as things called FIDO2 and passkeys that helped prevent phishing attacks that got around multi-factor. There are ways and means to still block this, but it is also detected by our product Huntress ITDR that will detect this kind of attack should you fall foul for it and block the user account and alert us. A phishing device code phishing attack compromises of three parts. Typically, the initial part to lure you into providing the authentication. This can vary widely and is very much up to the bad actor as to how they want to lure you in. That could take the form of an email or WhatsApp or Teams message, but effectively they've got to trick you into typing a code into a Microsoft box and approving their access, which is the device code authentication part. That is typically always the same in this kind of attack, and it's the lure that will be varied. And once you perform the authentication, you're then into the breach situation where they've gained access to your environment and your data. So in this scenario, we're going to run through what the lure looks like in this real life example. So this user received an email from somebody they know and trust. That user had unfortunately been compromised and their account used to send on this email. They received an email about a purchase order with a PDF, and they opened the PDF. Inside the PDF was just a View PDF button, which when you hovered over it showed the hyperlink to the website it's going to take you to. So the user wanting to view the PDF clicked the View PDF button, which launched a Google Sites page which they'd used to host this site on. Their user then clicked the View document as they wanted to view the document and thought that was what was required. The View document then redirected them to another website. In this case, the URL looked highly suspicious, but the user didn't notice this. This is often the case because they're busy or distracted and just trying to get this purchase order to see what it's all about. They were shown a preparing your secure document with a spinning wheel to start with, which was then followed by a fake SharePoint page. This is where we're about to move on to the device code authentication piece. And whatever the lure is, they will end up presenting you with a validation code that looks something like this, and then ask you to put it into a genuine Microsoft login page. So one of the things to watch out for is a verification code being put into the next screen. If you see something like this, stop, ask, and don't proceed. But up until now, they will vary their technique in order to try and lure the user into performing this authentication. Once you click the open document screen link, up popped a new window asking you to enter the code. In this case, the URL is genuine, this login page is genuine, everything about this is genuine, except for the fact it's intended to allow you to authenticate a device like a TV or a meeting room piece of equipment, not allow you access to a document. Things to pay attention to here is that it says once you've entered the code displayed on your app or device, it will have access to your account. So the code hasn't been displayed on an app or device. And also don't enter the code from sources you don't trust. But again, users are often busy or distracted and not necessarily paying attention to these messages. And as the level of security and hoops we have to jump through these days varies widely, we do get used to having to do new things about putting things in boxes to approve our access. So the user pasted in the code that they had copied and hit next. You're then asked to confirm your account. As I was already logged in with my Get Demo account, it then asked me, do I want to use that account? Had I have then proceeded with that account, it may well have popped up a password or MFA box just to validate that. And that's the point that you're then authenticating them. The problem here is that this isn't the phishing website. This is a legitimate website. And if you're using something like a FIDO2 or passkey to authenticate, this will authenticate because you are actually logging in with Microsoft and not into a bad actor's website. The problem is what's being asked of you is to authenticate a device. And so by following this process, you're allowing the attacker's device to have access to your systems. The final thing to point out here is it said that it's located in the US, which should be another red flag. Again, users busy, maybe not really understanding it. It's easy to miss that. So the user carried on, used in this case their phish-resistant multi-factor authentication, and allowed the bad actor in. Luckily, Hunter's ITDR kicked in, detected the malicious login, and blocked the user and the bad actor. Thank you for watching. And just to recap, the key points here are, if you get to see the device code authentication screen, do not follow that. Stop and ask. That is the key piece. Many thanks for watching.